Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new live stream. How are you doing on this 2 days before Valentine's Day? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, we're working. Up and running. Boy, we got some fun stuff to show you. And well, first of all, hello. My name is John Skippy Limcool. Welcome. This is our weekly Saturday live stream. We like to play with Unify. We like to support Unify. So there's some really cool 3 new unified libraries. I got 3 plugins to show you. 2 of them are on sale at various websites. Actually, just one website. Audio Plugin Deals has deals running on both GFORCE's MiniMonsta as well as Waldorf Largo. Also, we are really close to releasing a library from Kilohertz for Phase Plant, which is another one of those kind of the trio of 3 synthesizers I would consider modern synthesizers, not trying to be a vintage recreation of something. They're their own identity. They're incredible. I want to give some shout outs really quick to the guys that have been unifying these libraries, both Jeremy Hall for the libraries I'm going to be showing you today, and then Thomas Svensson did the Phase Plant library, and we're almost just a day or 2 away from releasing it. It's got most everything working, but there's just I'll show you the plugin still because it's also at Audio Plugin Deals on sale. There's 3 synthesizers on sale, and they all got unified this week, so it's pretty cool. Hello to everybody. Good to see all the usual family is here. That's great. You guys doing good? Yeah, I will show you Phase Plant because they have 9 days left of a pretty sweet, like it's just like $99 for normally a $260 package of it plus 3 libraries. It's a great synth. I've had it as an evaluation in the past. I tried it out and then I didn't buy it at the time, but can't say no to the deal they had going on. The other ones I had prior, I'm cycling a little fun song I did for the latest video. If you haven't watched it yet, it's showing how to take drums using just a simple drum patch. It's just one drum patch, and then using real-time macro knobs to get variation out of it. Have it change up, break down, do all these different things during this track that I didn't have to program anything in my DAW. It's just from moving knobs and then recording that. So watch that video, it's really nice. I also want to point out at my website, we have our Valentine's Day sale has started. It's going on. And let's see, view, let's have this not show that. It's 30% off everything, including Mega Magic keys. Decided to put that into the sale as well. So if you need inspiring patches, please come to PlugInGuru.com and support the channel. That's the best way to support this channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, all that usual cool stuff if you want. Thank you. All right, so to start, oh, thank you. Glad you guys like that video. Is the good? Thanks. Yeah, there's actually 2 tips, but it's one topic. One of automation, and then another one of how to split out different drums from one of the BPM drum patches. So if you, let's say, let's go to the standard library. If you have one of these, like here, the chili drum groove, right? And it's playing. In the video, I show you how to turn this into multiple layers so that you can mix each of the components of this groove independently. So it's very helpful. So that came out really good. I'm glad you guys like that. All right, so as you can see, this says Unify 1.8. We have slated next Thursday, the 17th, as Unify 1.8 release day. So it will be out on Thursday next week. And I will tell you that we are working like crazy behind the scenes. If you type 1.8 in the search, all of these patches have been updated. Taylor and myself are going through and we are making sure everything has like at least 4 knobs of real-time parameter controls, that there aren't any missing things going on. I've also been making some additional patches. The groove that you just heard, this BPM split Chilly Love, is coming. Also, I made a patch called Cinematic Inya, which is very... Let's speed this a little bit. So that's coming so you can kind of get your Inya on. And the second half of this video, we're going to be making patches from scratch for the 1.8 library. So, hang on for that. To start with, I'm going to just recap some of the features, the really cool things that we've added to Unify 1.8. Between 1.7 and 1.8, we've done a whole lot to just make working with Unify really easy, give you more information. When you go to drum kit, you now have the ability to look over on the drums on this page here and see a menu showing you what sounds are on what notes. I might still be working on the colors. It's a little Samsung phone looking in the saturation and brightness, but I want it to be really clear and distinguished what is doing what, and then try to kind of like formalize that. Like for example, the Airwave kit doesn't have as many samples across the keyboard. So here you can see that just by selecting the patches and working. When you get to something like the bass splits and so forth, or just the BPM splits, all of these also have key zones showing you what's going on. So you can know how to play it before you play it, and you can see what's going on. When you go to the latch patches, I've been able now to finally make so that you can see the layout, because a lot of people don't know that there's a note at the very top that can play rain. So you play high C, and then the rest of the keyboard is piano. So you're able to play while it rains. That's why it's called piano rain, because I have a note set to latch for high C. And you just play that same note again to turn it off. Play it again to turn it on. Or you can hit the little stop everything button down here in the lower left. But if you go to another patch like, the Never solution, this shows you that there's a left hand, which is the drone. And the way that the drone concept works for these latch patches, one of my favorite sets of patches are these because it's so unique. And remember, this is using Guru Sampler. This could be any plugin you own. This mono latch functionality will work with any plugin. As long as it sustains out when you hold the note down, it will play. And by using, you click right here to change between raw, MIDI in. That's what we call just everything coming in. That's the normal setting. We have 2 types of latch, and mono latch means that when you play a note, it's now latched. But it's mono, meaning when I play another note, it will turn off C and switch down to F. And then when I play high G, that way I can play a note I can play a note and it'll just sustain down there without me having to play it again. So it opens up all sorts of really fun, exciting doors. Meaning of Death and stuff like that are patches where one note's playing a whole chord. All of these layers that have the green light are latched. Just play it once, and then up top. Right? And the Meaning of Life. This is a really, I love this. I love the big CinemaScape. Just one note, huge chord thing. So we can visually show you now. I almost called this Rivendell. So just be aware, this is some of my favorite patches and capabilities. Unify is latch. And we have two modes. We also have latch polyphonic, which if you're familiar with Omnisphere, Omnisphere uses what's called a mono polyphonic, which means you can play a whole chord. It holds all three of those notes, but to turn them off, you have to play all three of those notes again. I wanted to have something a little bit more simplified and more guaranteed that you can play and not. If you've ever tried to use latch in Omnisphere, there's times where you're like, okay, where's the stop button? Because I don't know what notes are being held. You don't get that with mono. Whatever you play, it's going to cancel what was playing and choose a new one. So it's pretty cool, okay? So we can show you now all this kind of information for the interface, which is nice. So yay. Other things that are wonderful. I have all of these libraries in here. If I go to Cloud City and I look at the authors, it only limits itself to the authors in this library. It no longer does. If you go all libraries, the list of authors is huge. A lot of authors. If you go to something like Noisebox, it's just yours truly, because I'm the only one that worked on making that library. So as you go to different libraries now, you can see it limits itself not only in authors, but in categories as well, to what categories are in this particular library. Very handy. You also have a little checkbox over here for what is going to search, and you can now search comments. So if somebody said something in comments about car keys, you could do like that. I don't know if anybody said anything about cars, but let's say car, C-A-R. I'm starting up, I just called, but I mean, you could do a specific search for even something in the comment field now. Or you can just say all, and it will turn them all on, which is really nice. Other things that we have done, there's a whole list, and I'll go through them. Next Saturday, we will do a complete compendium of everything in the update. But a lot of niceties has been added. In fact, let me do this. Let me just see if there's something else I should cover. No. I don't see how to get to. Okay, well, never mind. But there's more stuff to show you inside of this update. It's got. I told you earlier. I told you in the video that the bass, mono bass, in Guru Sampler has been considerably tightened up. We're going through all of the bass patches in the library and setting them to mono legato. And back in the day, we didn't have mono legato, so all of these basses in Guru Sampler, I'd set them to one voice of polyphony, which would make them not play very well when you played legato. So like this, now we have a real-time knob down here for the sub. So you can add that if you want to it. Really, really cool. So it's a great update. It will be free to all registered owners. It's coming on Thursday, okay? Let's see, what else do we want to talk about? Before we get to the unified libraries, it was posted to me that Audio Damage has released, this was posted on our forums. If you're not a part of our forums, you should be, because there's a lot of stuff happening all the time. Legacy products have been released for free from Audio Damage. So all of these different, no support whatsoever is provided, but all of these different phaser, phase 2, Discord, Big C, all these different effects, vintage reverb, fixed frequency filters, all sorts of things have been added for free, as well as the Rough Rider 3 is a free plugin. So go to audiodamage.com/pages/free-and-legacy, and there are those for you to take a look at. Now, let's do this. Audio plugin deals. Let's see. Let's get over here. And let's see. The first one we should show in the unified libraries. Let's just go down the list. GFORCE MiniMonsta is made by our friends at GFORCE Software in the UK. MiniMonsta is right here. It's $29, and you have 1 day and 10 hours left on this sale, and it's $29.99. It's one of the more older plugins. It's been around a while. I have been looking like crazy. I don't see any way to make the interface bigger, which would be nice. There's, as you can see in the count, 578 patches. It sounds really nice. It definitely has a Mogi vibe to it. Are these all down? Oh, that's not right. I'm going to do an update to the library because we never have the master volume at -5 dB. It should always be at 0. If anything, it's better to bring this down by 5 dB and keep this up at 0, because the reason for that being, if you add other instruments into the layers, then the output isn't curtailed for everybody. If this patch needs to be softer, I have a comment to look at from Gerhard. Let's see here. Right now, I'm wondering whether Cloud City or Noisebox will be my next library. I do mainly hip hop. Let's let chat say their thing. I would say Cloud City would be where you would want to go, just because Cloud City is a little more encompassing and it's a little more aimed at hip hop. Noisebox was done in like the early 2000s, and it's only drum loops, so you don't have anything else to play with per se. There's really great stuff in the library. I can show you something like Vulture Bay. Here's each of the different grooves. There's A, B, C. Those are your 3 different mixes. Then you have all the instruments by itself. And if you say load embedded, you can actually just click and add what you want. So it's really flexible. It's very, very fun, especially when you realize there's 495 patches that you can just click to add adding the loops from. And with a 30% off sale on everything at the site, you might be able to get both. But this is all drums, but it's all drums in a really cool, creative. That's Beanstalk Hat 3, so let's add Beanstalk Hat 2 and 1. And because of this, I can pan them separately. Right? So there's all sorts of flexibility, but it's just drums. Cloud City is probably the coolest library. Well, I love all the libraries I do, so I can't say which one's the coolest. But this library goes everywhere. It shows off MIDI files, playing chords, which we're going to make one of these for Unify's factory voicing in the second half of this live stream. The basses are wonderful. And they get into subcategories and stuff. The bells, I recorded 2 different steel tongue drums that are... I mean, for hip hop, you need... Take that, add a huge bass. There's prayer bells, meditation bells. I also sampled, there's really cool drum kits. Chaos, Mel Chaos, this really cool DJ in the East Coast, did all these really cool drum grooves. Hard hitting. There's a down tempo kit, right? So yeah. No, there's a really cool sound to noise box. I mean, I love it. It's one of my kids. So, and then I did a hip skip, which is all sorts of drum loops. These are all more kits, not the elements. I think with noise boxes, you get all these really cool elements, and they work really well together. So you have this going on, and go load embedded, choose this loop, and let's choose this loop. I'm just playing with loops because the loops are all sorts of fun stuff. You know? And then you can go to Unify for this layer. Let's set this to notes, to eighth notes, random, and pitch. So you can get into really, really cool, crazy. You know, the fun thing is all these libraries work together. The last thing I'll show you before we move on is the drums. After the drums, there's this percussion. Cloud City's one of the most rounded libraries. You have these MIDI song ideas because we were playing with MIDI box. So the whole idea of one note being a whole song. I explored that with these different song ideas. So you just play one note and you know, all sorts of experimental stuff in this library because I was experimenting with all the cool capabilities that we had in Unify when this came out. We've been adding MIDI box and all this stuff. So this library is a huge, just all sorts of crazy exploring ideas type of a library. These cloud hop, you play one note and, you know, just all sorts of fun stuff. And the vocal chops. Any idea when Airwave's box of noise will be unified? That's on the list. Yeah, song idea number 1, I love. I love that. So those are fun, just little ideas. It was just experiments to see what I could do with just the OBXD. These are all OBXD parts. And then on top of that, drums. As separate elements. Fun stuff, fun. This was a fun library to do. It was rather massive. Now that I look back at it, I'm like, I did that? That happens to me sometimes. And then the percussion is really cool because I recorded all of these different cajones, finger cymbals. There should be pictures for all this. I don't know why the pictures aren't showing up, so I'll have to see what happened. But these kit, this is a world kit where you have across the keyboard all of these sun drum, Taos drum, metal, different tambourines, a whole bunch of different shakers. There's, I think, 30 different instruments that let's see, if we just go to perk, I think that's where you'll see the pictures of all the different, I need to get these applied to the BPMs patches for tons of samples for every one of the different elements. Eggshell shakers, right? So it's a fun library. I mean, each library has its own strengths, right? So have you considered offering a tool to download and keep your libraries up to date? We've talked about that, and you know, that's probably something I need to do at some. The challenge is it's just me and just Shane, and there's so much to manage and keep track of. We need about 5,000 more people to come by Unify, and then we can really get some serious development and support and all these things that we want to do. We just don't have enough hands and people working on something, you know. If it's just two people making a game for the Sony game system, it's going to take them 10 years. So we need to get a team, and to get a team, we need to sell more copies of Unify. So anything you guys can do to get the word out, let people know about Unify, share how cool this is, and talk about it in interviews or publications. Any of that is just super helpful to us. So, you know, it's on the long-term list. Yes, we just need the financial support to make something like that happen, right? All right, so let's see here. We were at MiniMonsta. You know, but that's the fun with the live stream. You got to, with the live stream, it's not organized. And if somebody asks a question in the chat, that's the priority to me rather than going off what I plan to show you guys. So we can get back to showing MiniMonsta. We do have real-time controls, so you can add So I think these that say mini are sound pretty much like if you were working with a mini mode, right? So it goes all over the place. More modern patches using it has that classic filter sound that's really nice. If we were to look at the interface, it's laid out just like a mini Moog. So pretty serious. So it has that nice ladder filter. The thing with the ladder filter is the fundamental is not lost as you bring down the filter. Other types of filters would clip some of that low end so it wouldn't be so big and round. That's why the Moog was so huge for bass, is because even when it was really dark, the main fundamentals stuck out. So yeah. It's great, and for $29.99, it's pretty much a no-brainer if you want to have a new synth that has a nice vintage vibe. Now, you will see as we go through these different synthesizers, each one has a different personality. So, right? So this, in the video description are links to download the unified versions of these libraries. I'm going to show you Kilohertz Phase Plant. We're still working on that. Waldorf Largo is another synth that has a unique totally different vibe, right? Echoes, good name. It's cool, has it. Oh, MiniMonsta does not work with Mac OS Monterey. Be aware of that. The interface for Largo looks like this. You've got, I believe, a filter here as well as here. Two big filter sections that can be routed in different ways. It looks a little over, almost, well, you got your filter here with the envelope. That's controlled here. You got envelopes here. You've got, it has parts and layers, so you can do more complex patches. The browser, you can go to the browse page and load patches here. You have to double click to. So I can do some flexible kind of multi-patches. If you set this to load embedded, you can layer them and they are all synced. So it sounds nice together. Hold down Option to turn down the volumes of all the layers together. Right? So this is on the audio plugin website. I believe to get to here, search, or actually you can go down to the bottom of the list and they have companies that they work with, and Waldorf is here. And there's Largo. Instead of $183, it's $29.99. They also have Lecter. Nave is wonderful as well. PPG. All of these synths are available for fractions of their retail cost. So audio plugin deals. Oh, it's audioplugin.deals. And you'll be like, they have so many situations of people just basically almost giving stuff away in a lot of cases. So be aware, don't overload yourself with too much. It's like back in the day you could go to the CD shop and buy 10 CDs, and I did that a couple of times, and typically 5 of those CDs would barely get played. They just get lost because I bought 10 at one time. It's better to have 1 or 2 that you sink your teeth into, spend time with, learn its personality. Then when you really know how you're using it, where it will fit in your productions, then look at, well, what else can I add if you want? If there's something, it's kind of like more like, what are you missing? Kind of have that conversation with yourself. What are my productions missing that I wish I could add, you know? And then you can probably find something that's been made that's there as an option. Now, this is a library we'd already unified, but they've updated it now to 3.5, and it now has, if we type 3.5 up here, these are all bonus new patches, I believe. Wait, if I go, let me see here. So let's go. If I go, what categories am I? I had a search where it was showing me, is it update? No. 3.5. Oh, brother. This is one of those where I wish we had a patch advanced where we could see some of the categories and stuff like that at the same time, because I'd like to show you the ones that were added that are new. I'm just not sure how to. Anyway, this is a wonderful sounding synth, used in a lot of dance tracks. Aftertouch. Really nice patches. I'm not gonna say anything, but I do like Dune very much. It's I think this is one of the new ones. Yeah, 3.5. So if I cancel, if I just search tags, let's see. This is where I wish it was just be one thing at a time. Tags, 3.5. There, 40 new patches. Shane, we'll have to look at that, because when it's set to all, and 3.5 wasn't showing everything. 3.5. Yeah, it wouldn't show everything. So let's have to see what's going on there. We're still fixing things as we go. I want this to be a little bit easier to use. How do I quickly get tags, right? So we'll talk about that. We're always working on making stuff as easy to... So now Synapse Audio, this is not one that's on sale. So if you want Dune, you'll need to pay for it. Audio Dune 3 is right here. It is a wonderful synthesizer. You can download a demo to try out. If you buy it from their secure website, I believe it's $179. Yep, I believe. No, it is $179. And that's for Dune 3.5, which comes with 40 additional new patches. Okay. So the links for all three of the unified libraries I have shown are in the video description. So just you just click where the video description is and it'll open up, and there's links right there. Also in the email I sent out last night, it included links. We go to noise box. Down towards the end here is when you get to some of the more dancey. Off you go. I mean, it's so easy to get lost when you have a handful of these libraries. Now at this point, all you have to do is change these to different MIDI channels so that you can control each one in your DAW, and off you go. It's just the funnest way to like find sounds that work together is just to do it so immediate. It's kind of shocking, because to do this in a DAW, loading up each layer on each track and searching the patches, it'll take you 10 times as long as it would inside of Unify. It's really, really fun. Now I'm going to show you a little bit about Phase Plant. We're almost done. Thomas Svensson just did this like yesterday, and I released it. There's just a small thing we need to fix with if you notice, all of the auxiliary effects are bypassed. And so I want to fix that before I get it out to you guys. So I expect in the next couple days, I will have this to you. Has 561 patches in the unified library. The thing about Phase Plant and kind of Dune 3 kind of in the same way is, as you can see, it's not trying to emulate a particular synthesizer. It's its own creature. It has some amazing flexibilities with 3 separate like auxiliary effect lanes that you can route sounds through. You click to add new layers and you choose what you want it to be. You can connect effects into the oscillator, which is really unique. And the sound of it is just really cool. It's very in your face. It can do the analog thing, but it also has just so many other show the keyboard, okay? Middle Earth. Just, it has its own sound. Right? And as you can see, it's not limited to just 1, 2, 3 oscillators. You can add as many oscillators doing different wavetable things, sampled things. These are all wavetables or just waveforms, it looks like, but it's a serious synthesizer in regards to the sonic capabilities of it are. And this is available at Audio Plugin Deals in a package of the basic Phase Plant, not the, and some of the, they have this whole concept called snaps for their effects. You just get the basic snaps. You don't get there's other ones that you need to get if you want the premium snaps for reverbs and so forth like that. That's why they're letting you have the basic to start with, and then if you want to add certain things into it, you have to pay for them, and that's where they'll make some more of the money, because they're basically making it $99 for the plugin plus 3 libraries of patches. I'd be really curious how many of these are relying on effects that it says no license here, so I don't know. I have to. Every patch has licenses missing, right? So I've just installed it this morning because I hadn't owned it until today. So I have. All right. So those are our 3 unified libraries for the week. Over 1,200 patches in each of those 3, and Kilohertz Phase Plant will be out probably by Thursday. I'll send in, since I have a sale going on, I'll probably send a note on Tuesday, since that's the last day of the sale. And at that time, I'll plan to include the Phase Plant Unified Library. You can find an early version of the library on the PlugInGuru Forums. Thomas posted it there first. You could download that version. I'm not going to release the final version that we're going to have for the. I need to first get permission from Kilohertz, so I'm going to send them a note making sure that they're cool with us doing this because I do that with all the companies that we typically unify, unless I know that they're going to be okay because they're friends of mine from their companies and stuff like that. But also I want to solve, get the auxiliary effects working, and I need to have an auxiliary knob. There's not a knob to send our auxiliary effects into the, if you want to automate that. So there's just a little bit of work to do. But I'm happy to show you this for a second because it is a nice synthesizer. It has really cool characteristics. As you can see, it can be CPU heavy. This one patch is, because of the oscillators being stacked and layered, you can get rather carried away with how many oscillators are playing, right? So yeah, it easily overloads my current Mac Mini. Oh, I see. The effects work, but if you want to edit them, you need to pay a license to get to the parameters. That makes sense. Yes, Faceplant is somewhat in a kind of a similar, it's a synthesizer with a Unify kind of a layout because you can just add more oscillators as you go. Although it's a little bit, it's just in its own little ecosystem, and you only have 3 lanes. You don't have the ability to grow it. We can have up to 4 auxiliary effect buses by default. And actually, if you needed to, you could change how many auxiliary buses to be more than 4 if you wanted to. And then you have modulation and all this stuff down here as separate controls that you can click and open up the little windows to see what's going on, and then assigning each of these to the different parameters. So yeah, it's got some similarities there. Yeah, some of the patches. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then group. I think that's 7 oscillators. I get about 6 notes of polyphony with that. Just be aware, it will work your system pretty good. But it sounds great. If you look at the real-time control knobs for some of these patches, you can change them. Some of the basses are really impressive with where you can take. For modern basses, for a lot of the bass music and stuff. Got a really solid focus sound to it, doesn't it? So a lot of flexibility. What's really cool, I have to talk to Thomas to find out each one of these, the knobs change names, and that's a lot of work. And I don't know if he manually did that. If you look at Faceplant, up here it has the names of the up to 8 macro assignments that you can set up. And maybe he's found a way to incorporate those in his conversion process. Great synth, great synth. So That's, maybe need more than one. No, well, it's not cores. This is, I don't think it's multi-core processor savvy. Otherwise, it would be using more cores and not running. I think it's just a single core. I don't know. I don't know their CPU footprint and how they manage use, but it seems to me that it's probably just everything on one core, like Omnisphere. Omnisphere, another synthesizer that can tax your computer. And it seems, what's interesting is it seems like your computer's pooping out, but it's actually just one core of your computer is pooping out, because a lot of these plugins are only talking to one core. And if that core poops out, it sounds like your computer's dying, but you still have, if you have a 6-core multi-threaded machine, you've got 24 cores or something like that with the different threads, right? It's just not utilizing them. So it's not using the whole power of your computer. It's just using a fraction of it on one core. Yeah, Faceplant does not split itself across multiple cores, Shane says. So that's the thing. Unify, we can't split each layer to be on different cores, but each layer in Unify can be a different core. That's why if you set this to embedded and you load different patches, it's going to play fine, even with like 4, because each one is being sent to a dedicated thread of your processors, of your computer. So if you tried to load all of these as one patch in Faceplant, it would kill your computer because it's all being asked from one core. This is a perfect example of why Unify is pretty cool. These are all playing on separate threads of your computer. So I'm going to show you guys a really cool shortcut trick. Not a shortcut, but it's a cool thing to be aware of. Right here, you can say add embedded Unify links, and you hit all. Just like that, it's going to add all of the real-time controls for all 4 layers. So now these knobs are assigned to all 4 phase plants. Normally, when you call up one phase, well, it depends on your settings. I have my settings turned off, so it doesn't add macro links, because I don't want it to do that. One thing we did add, I should point out that's cool, enable master label, master layer. What this does is if you start with a single patch, to help make the loading seamless, if this is off, when I right click and I say load into a new Unify layer, by default, we bypass the master effects of the embedded Unify layers. But there's a lot of cases when I'm loading things and the sounds have certain effects on the master layer, or that optimization sounds really nice. So in 1.8, one thing that we've added is the ability to turn on a checkbox that says, even when I'm loading a Unify layer, don't bypass the effects. Because if you go to our save page, you have the ability down here to lock the master effects, which will override the default of bypassing them. So you can do it a couple different ways, but I prefer to just have that checkbox of load. That way it loads and they sound sweet. They have our master effects. It's subtle. Here, check this out. We make everything sound better. For example, if you call up any patch from any of the unified libraries, turn off the master layer. This is what it sounds like when you call it up in your DAW. Here's what it sounds like when you call it up in Unify. Because we have just the smallest amount of EQ, a compressor just there. We have a little bit of saturation on the loud max limiter. Without, with. Without, with. Everything sounds better when played through Unify. Even like MiniMonsta, you call up these patches. Without, it's just a little bit. I spent $3,000 for a TubeTech LCA 2B stereo tube compressor like 25 years ago. And I used it all the time because you just run anything through it and everything's set off by default. It still made everything sound a little bit better. And so that's the concept for our Master Effects layer, is that it just sweetens things just a little bit better than without with. So this is all done under the replace layers. Go to master to the, let me make sure that you can see this. Yeah, this is, oh, I could fix this to be a little bit better. Sorry about that. Like that. So if you click the little bullet right here, if you have an init patch, you'll see this when we're making init patches in a minute. If you click right here, replace the layer preset, master effect presets, and right here are the optimizers. I originally had one that really made it sound better because it added 2 dB of additional sound, just volume, by just cranking the volume by 2 dB. But I found that a lot of patches from synths that are optimized, not everything's optimized, but here, I'll load up that patch. So if we go over here and say, how it's even better without. It's actually fine just to have just the light, which is what I used for as default for everything like that. So let's see. Okay, so we have, again, 3 unified libraries and a 4th one coming probably by Monday. I'll try to get it all wrapped up by then, okay? Let's make some patches. I also have a library coming next week I'm really excited for. This is Unify. This is made by Matthias Sauer, who also made Unichill. So if you like the Unichill library, which had all sorts of really cool, lots of BPM patches. It went really crazily, all sorts of fun stuff with that, and the BPM ARPs, all these really cool. Right? This is for chill. Well, we're doing this again for lo-fi. This is more components and patches and just Unify, no new samples, although I did add a new drum kit. I'll show you in a minute, but you only need Unify, nothing else. Tons of really cool keys. And if you go up here to the BPM drums, I made these lo-fi kits. So if we say load embedded, you could say like this. It's got a really cool vibe. All the lo-fi drum grooves. I did some really special processing to get them to sound lo-fi. Let's see, if we go to just the drum kit, the chili. Right? So there's a lo-fi kit. We're including the 808, my Skippy 808 kit. That's part of the free 808 day kit. Plus we're going to end up at over 200 patches of just really Really, really cool lo-fi vibe. So this will hopefully land about the same time as 1.8. It's kind of what I'm aiming at. Next Thursday. Right? So that's in the works. There's other stuff I wish I could show you, but I will show you when we're closer to them being ready to be released. So I think we're going to do the last 30 minutes making patches. Can I move the PlugInGuru folder? Yes. In fact, I need to, this is probably what the next one topic tip video will be about, is moving the library. You can move it anywhere. What you would do is go to a patch, say reveal in Finder, right? And then scroll up. You want this is to move the folder that contains all the patches. So you'd go, for me, it's already on my sample libraries folder. I have it on an external folder already. So this is a PlugInGuru folder. You want to move the whole PlugInGuru folder. Inside of the PlugInGuru folder is, don't ignore this because this is my work in progress libraries where I store all the libraries that are not being seen in this list. I still organize them that way right now. But inside of the Unify folder, you have all the preset libraries, all the different folders there. So you want to go to the PlugInGuru folder, and that is what you will move to an external, move that anywhere you want. And then you have to go to your settings, to the data folder right here. You want to say change. If you hit open, then it will open up the folder. But remember, you want to go two above this, that you move the whole PlugInGuru Unify folder ideally. Although Unify itself, I think, would look just inside of a Unify folder, as long as all these elements are found there and it's named Unify. But you can change it with the change button right here. That will change it to look at a different location. So as you start adding libraries, it starts to get lots of memory. And so if you want to put it to an external hard drive, that is not that hard to do. Just make sure that when you go to change and you hit change, you want to make sure you get to this level where you see all the different folders of the Unify folder. And that is what you want to hit open to, so that the final directory looks just like this, except for the volumes and sample masks and sample libraries. These will be different depending on where you ended up moving it. But it still has to say PlugInGuru and Unify at the end. Okay? If you have something wrong here, it will tell you you have something wrong, because I can't find what I need. But yes, you can move that anywhere you want it to go, right? Lo-fi. That's right. We love lo-fi. So there you go. Okay, so let's make a couple patches. I'm going to let's do it for the standard library first, and I might make one for lo-fi too, because I've got some more patches to make for that library. One thing that I added to the Unify standard library, if we go over here and reel in the Finder, if we go up here to the standard library, in the MIDI files folder, I have added 5 new folders of MIDI files that I'm adding. And so I want to make some things from them. Some of these are from BBC Discover Station. Some are from Chill Guitar, that are one-note rhythm things. Some are from Cloud City and the Euclidean rhythms. I put this in here too, so that you would be able to play with all the different 32 phases. And we even have a stack of all 32 Euclidean rhythms, which is really fun for, let's build something with Euclidean rhythms really fun. That'd be fun. So we're going to hit init. We're starting totally from scratch. I'm going to go over here and say Guru Sampler. And I want to pick something. Let's do something with Mega Magic Dreams. I need something that's got an attack that fades out. So we could say bell. Release, bring up. I want to turn on the filter, so we'll go over here to filter. I'm going to turn this down. And then this velocity brings up the filter cutoff value. because including rhythm is all about things that cycle at different numbers. So I want to go over here, Unify arpeggiators, MIDI box. I'm going to choose the standard library, and I'm going to say Euclidean rhythms. Let's see, let's go by names. So Euclidean rhythms. Let's say we have this one do 4. Right, so it's by 4. I'm going to have it go up by an octave, so I'm going to shift my offset up by 12. All right, then I'm going to duplicate this, and I want this one to be a different Euclidean rhythm, like say 6. Let's pan them left and right. Then duplicate this one. Let's have this one be like 22 for something really interesting. And I want this one to be a different sound. In fact, I might get kind of tricky with this one. I'm going to put another MIDI box in front of or after the 22 one, believe it or not. And I'm going to set this to the Unify standard library. And I want it to do maybe one of my melodic polychord with octaves. It's not working right. Let's have this one go in front of the other one. There we go. Let's go over here. We're going to add an auxiliary effects from patches. Let's go halftime. Then I need to have something else. Maybe we'll have like an ARP kind of thing. So I could go over here to a new, let's play with the OBXD. And I'm gonna choose something like Bass Snapper. And then right here in the MIDI effect, this is gonna be a BPM patch, obviously. So we'll say Blue ARP and go to the presets and then choose something like, I don't want a chord. And then I might do, let's see, let's add another layer. I'm gonna go over here to Guru Sampler. something like, do I want strings? Not really. Maybe Plucky Klamath for. Let's have it. Let's add a delay. I want this delay to have some personality. And then I don't want it to be there all the time, so I'm going to use a pump house. Let's take it up an octave. I'm going to play with some knobs after I get done with this. It's probably not right now because it takes a long time to do that stuff, but BPM, pad. Stinger. And I'll fill in all the category stuff. Just put 1.8 plus. That will be the tag to search for is 1.8 plus. Go save as. Save. I definitely want to get this sound to be more darker now that I'm. Something like that would be cool. And then be able to have a knob that's. Let's see, I want to be maybe just more sawtooth and vibe. And then the pad. I want this to get darker. Maybe I'll have this down an octave. That's closer. Okay, option click to save that. Init. I also want to do some stuff with the chords. I added chords to, so we'll go Unify Guru sampler. Let's use maybe something from Science of Life. This would be fun. Then filter. That might be cool. So we go over here to Unify's MIDI box to standard library and BBC. These are the MIDI chords. So I added all of these chords and check out how they work. You play a note and it plays that chord. This is a huge one. Some gliss. So if you ever want to do like really big chord hits, changing velocity, duh. There we go. Let's make it be 8th notes, so I have it play twice as fast. Let's go over here. Maybe let's play with, we don't get enough love to DX10. For FM, deep basses are wonderful. And let's maybe have this do an arpeggiator with a blue arp. And we'll say 8th notes for our timing bass. And have it do some octaves every now and then. So just octave bump. I'm just randomly clicking octaves up. Let's say gate time a little bit shorter. And I want this to be a little bit snappier, so we have a parameter in the DX10 called mod intensity. And let's duplicate this. And let's maybe use, let's stay in FM land. Let's play DX and go to carts, and I have all the web. I have billions and billions of FM patches. There we go. Jack Deckard has some. Ooh. Take the velocity curve down. Oh, that doesn't affect this because it's played by. It should. No. Okay. So it's I'm learning stuff about Unify as we go all the time. And I want to double the chord part too. And we could take it either up an octave. Let's try that if it's. Or is it better just sitting? I like that better. I'll keep the arps there in case you want to use them. Let's see if we set one of the layers to a different sound. Okay, so what kind of chord was this? This is the 7/9 chord. So we'll call this chord 7/9 beauty chord. Beauty rest. And let's go to Unify Standard. 1.8, save as, save. I think I might have made a mistake. Let me see something. If we go 1.8 plus, yeah, I think this ended up going into the Dune library. Yeah, so Let's save it one more time to the Unify standard library. Save as. Save. And then we can go right here to this one and say, reveal in Finder. Is this really in the, yeah, so bye-bye. Okay, so if I update my patches, it'll take a second to like get its stuff together. All right, so I made a couple patches, having some fun. I tend to go kind of fast when I'm doing voicing work sometimes, so hope this is helpful to. I was gonna ask, is there a special request on a patch you guys would like to see? Something I should make? I'll probably make more chords because we want to have probably like 4 or 5 of these. Yes, I could have chosen delete if I loaded the patch first, but delete was not an option because I had not loaded it. So I chose just to reveal in the Finder and then delete it. So yeah, I hadn't loaded it first. So I prefer that. So that way anyway, there's multiple ways to do things in Unify. So yes, make something with Unilo-Fi. Make some patch with the Imagine Synth. Well, no, I'm making things using just the patches, the plugins that come inside of Unify. Pad sound with some cello stabs supporting it. Oh, okay. That'd be fun. So a BPM pad. So we'll say init. Starting from scratch. I'm not going to use any presets to start with. Let's make our pad first. So, of course, we would go Mega Magic pads. That's where the most beautiful pads are born. And let's go lo-fi or low filter, lo-fi. Yeah, you tell where my brain's been. Right? Yeah, it is insane. Unify does get into the world of insanity because so many options are available. So we're gonna say, I'll just do them all from scratch. Empty layer, we're gonna say Guru Sampler again. And this time, instead of the waveforms, I also am gonna do a one topic tip on Guru Sampler, just so you're clear. When you call up Guru Sampler and you open it, it's looking at the Unify standard library. If you click here, this is showing you all the different libraries that you have a light version of samples from. I've gone through and picked some of my favorite samples from each of these different libraries that I've made for Omnisphere. My goal this year is to release the full versions of all these libraries for Unify so that they will all be with all the samples inside of Unify. So that's in the planning stages. We haven't started it yet, but I'm going to go spiccato. And then let's go over here and let's use MIDI box because MIDI box can do some nice things. Remember when I was showing you in the Unify standard library, I added some things from BBC Discover Station. These are various really cool rhythmic patches that I made for Discover Station. I'm going to put them into the standard library. So I could choose something like, let's use Impeccable Warrior Bottom for this part. Okay, so we need to do a couple things. We need to release. Probably up an octave. So we're going to use transpose. And I'm going to randomize the start. The sample start randomization means each time it plays new notes, the start point's a little bit different. Violin players never play the same place. And I'm going to limit this to my B, and then I'm going to duplicate this layer and here's another cool way. You can right click to change key ranges. You can use the right click. Even in Unify that you guys all have, this works. And then for the low key C, And instead of this being the Impeccable Warrior bottom, I'm going to have it be the top. So now I have two different MIDI files that are made to work together. Now this one here, we want to, maybe we will use, let's go over here and add a new auxiliary. Go to the reverb category, and here are all of these presets calling up the different reverbs that are built into Unify. And I want a room, so we're gonna, or concert hall, like a string hall, something like this. Let's bring these up. So and just for fun, I'm gonna add one more layer. Let's go over here. Let's change this to be Guru Sampler. I'm gonna go, I believe it's the Viola library has Pizzicatoscape. This is a composite patch I made combining cello and viola and violin together to make it like a pizzicato. And let's give this a different MIDI box pattern. So we're gonna go back to here to the standard library, go over here to the Discover Station string stuff, and maybe choose like the 8th note patterns or something like that. And let's see. Let's go over to MIDI box and transpose it with the offset down an octave. Again, and I always bring up the attack to like 3 or 4 if I change the sample start, because that otherwise you can get clicks because we play at absolute sample levels. And let's go over here and go dynamics. I'm going to try to level it out a little bit. Let's have our cellos panned, our pad up. How's that? Is that into the... Okay, then we go over here. Let's replace layer presets, master, optimizer light. And then we can go over here. Let's add a MIDI box to the pad. But I'm going to try to use one of the LFO, MIDI box LFO. Let's say a triangle wave like this. I gotta get this connected to the... Let's see here. CC1. So I have to go over here to CC1 and assign this by link parameters to the filter cutoff of Guru Sampler. So we go filter cutoff. And that should be working. It's not going to do it. I'll have to take a... This is one of those things that takes a while to get working. I want to have some motion. Well, I can do it with the LFO here. So here, let's say we don't need that because we now have a cool LFO inside of Guru Sampler. So I'm going to go over here to notes. Because I wanted to have some of the plucking stuff. So we're going to go down to custom. And go here to the presets, to the rhythmic pulses. So you'll be able to get all sorts of I love the fact that we have the ability to control and hear things in real time when we're doing like knob assignments. I can click right here and hear where it's going to be when it's doing that. It's just wonderful. And maybe we'll put a delay on him because this is kind of like orchestral plus. So let's go delay. We use a high pass filter. And some distortion. This is where I need lots of LFOs to do what I want to do. And then the mod wheel. How's that? Not too much delay. We could also go to MIDI box and half time it. That's better. Maybe instead of cellos, let's go to the violins. So we have cello for the left hand. Maybe I will add, sometimes I will do this where I'll add a reverb to the global effects so that everybody goes through just a little bit, maybe a clang falter, so that we can like move this to the early part of the chain and put like a nice convolution reverb. Because so you hit show browser, go to Unify standard library. These are the ambiverbs. Noise verbs are like noises and crinkling paper and stuff. And then go down here to some of these really nice concert halls and stuff like that. Cathedral. That gives it that room. Right. So there you go. I'm not a virtuoso. You guys are too kind. So we'll go BPM, pad, concerto, C-O-N-C-E-R, concerto, royale. Nice. And again, we're dealing with, I was having very limited control with these sample libraries inside of Omnisphere originally and using multiple patches. So it's not every note. At some point, I want to go back and work with these wonderful musicians and get lots of samples and do it really well. If you want any of these parts, you could go down here and you could say swap out and go to Spitfire Audio or 8DO or anybody, a contact library that you love, and replace the sounds with whatever plugins you own. That's the funnest part of Unify, is that this is made using what comes with Unify, but anytime I could go, maybe these strings, let's say that you want to do something fun, you go to Spitfire Audio, BBC Symphony Orchestra, call up one of the big strings. Although, you know, this is one of those cases where we'll see, because I think the Abbey Roads, actually, you know, some of the other stuff that they've done, I would actually probably suggest not use BBC's. Still, keys strings are only in a couple octaves here, and then the violas you have to with their originals, they have made somewhere it's across the whole keyboard. So you could go over here to the originals, to Epic Strings, to Epic Strings, to Epic Strings, to Epic Strings, to Epic String. Repeat what I say, and go strings, go to their shorts. So now we're using that. You could even, if you own let's do this. Let's replace both of those just to show you how easy it is. Spitfire Audio. This is a $29 string library, my friends. So if you want to get some strings to play with, go to Epic Strings, or Frozen Strings is great. It'll take a minute to load them all up. Let's go to MIDI box, take it up an octave. Now I got string libraries. It's that easy to swap out the parts that started as all you have to do is click the little green button and go to all of your plugins that you have. And if you have some of the Spitfire, or like I said, Contact and ADO libraries or whatever you want to work with, replace them and turn it into your own thing for your own productions. That's where the fun of Unify is. Okay. All right. Well, I think we'll call it quits right there. So will we have one day a Shane Dunn library? Maybe he should. He can program. He's made some stuff and sent to me, so it's not out of the realm. Matrix delay, yeah. That might be another thing to do as like one of my one-tip topics. So you're welcome. Hey, we'll do our shout outs. Shout out from wherever in the world you are. Not quite right yet. Oh, I know what it is. The knob here. My knob is set so that when it's at 0, it's at the bottom. So I need to raise this up. change this to be 16th notes. There, that gives it a little bit of a busy thing. And then let me option save that. What's fun with something like this, of course, go to the keys, say allow it to load embedded, and choose like the Church Steinway Volume 2. And at this point, you got to turn everybody down so you're not hitting the compressor too hard. I'll probably save a patch like this too, so you can. Concert Royale Grande has piano in it too. How about this, right? So we'll save as save. And then we'll just have the smaller. Oh, I'm embedding and loading, embedding and loading, embedding. Don't want to do that. That's the grande, and then we'll call this simple, or I'll think of this simple, or yeah, simple. That works. Update. And then the grande. Right? So, there you go. Shout outs from so many countries. That's what's so fun, is we got everybody in the world is hanging out. It's wonderful. Okay, thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. Next week will be really fun. Unify 1.8 will be out. It comes out on Thursday. Please, if you have the desire to show appreciation, we have a sale going on for Valentine's Day. Show by buying some libraries, which gets you new patches to play with. And I would appreciate that very much. So how to play this patch on the keyboard. Okay, be well. We will see you guys next week. All right. Thanks again for joining, and have a great, great Valentine's Day. Stop playing keyboards for a while to be with the ones you love, stuff like that, you know. But, or if it's just you, then just make yourself happy by playing your keyboards and your computers and stuff. Have fun. So, see you next week. Thank you all.